Yo, welcome to Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and Music is a Day Job is brought to you by the Concert app. Today's question is: should I wait until my music is perfect before releasing? Now, this is something I've actually struggled with, and I think a lot of artists struggle with. Um, Understanding what perfection is versus, I guess you could say, ready to go. And a lot of us artists, we get so attached to our art that we wait forever. Like, yo, I gotta make sure it sounds like this and da 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 da. And sometimes it's a difference of like the way I try to separate me personally is I try to understand the difference between the perfection of being nitpicky versus something that just can be changed and tweaked that might be just like a little technical difference. Like for instance, like if I spit a little bit too fast and it's a little tad bit over the beat different than what it should be, then I might go redo it. However, what happens with me is I try to be, I almost become like a perfectionist with the rollout, and that's what becomes my problem a lot of time with releasing music. Because over my career, I didn't release a lot of music comparative to other artists. Like we only have one album, one real album, and then we have a lot of like separate songs. But within that 15 years, I was able to live off music, just releasing that bit of music because I'm very like picky with like um the rollouts and actually pushing the song. Now that part I'm not wrong on. Like the pushing the song so you can get everything out of it, I believe that 100%. Definitely each song that you can get a push on, push it and get every little thing out of it that you can get, from the publishing to everything. Get everything you can get out of it because you're not a famous artist. You're not like super famous, so then everybody's not hearing it. So it's a new song to tons of people. Every time you go to different cities, everything. So then squeeze everything out of that. Now, with the perfection, like there is no perfection. So then we get into a space where we think there's a perfection and there's actually isn't a perfection. So then we hold on to music forever and ever and ever. And that's one thing that I've been like, it's horrible at it. Like I probably have a catalog of maybe like 100 songs right now sitting in sitting in just sitting on the computer. And I probably should release them. You know what I'm saying? So, but uh they're just sitting there. Like if I counted songs, like I have 100 songs that have been recorded in the last probably like 3 years, that just because I've been more focused on building concert that I haven't released, and because I've kind of like got out of the spotlight of being the rapper myself or being the musician myself, so then I just had never released them. If I counted over my whole career how many songs I have that we haven't released, it could possibly be like 500 to 1,000 songs possibly because I was in a like I'm in a group, so then there's multiple of us, and then at one point there was like 6 or 7 of us, and then at another point for the other majority of time it was 3 of us, and then the last part it was 2 of us. So there's songs with like us and the other guys and everything like that that haven't been released. Then there's songs solo of me and Brian, and then there's songs with both of us, and then so there's like just tons and tons of songs. Some of these songs, as in the perfection that I'm saying that you can tweak, is some of these songs are like either just missing a verse or missing a like maybe like a bridge or something like that, and they haven't been mixed good enough to get to. And I'd even say with a lot of artists, don't get caught into that mixing of like it has to be the perfect mix ever, because the thing is as long as it can play on radio. And see, back then I could say as long as it can play on radio, it's good enough. And that's how I knew. I'd be like, because what you're changing the frequencies and everything for, what you're doing all that for, is so it doesn't, so it can get to radio, so they can say it's clean enough to play. However, if you're not even going to radio, if you can make it sound good enough just to be on your TikTok and stuff, so you can push. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel, because you're going to end up spending a lot of money trying to figure out the song to actually do that with, when you don't even know which song is the one that you should really go into mixing that well and doing all that stuff too. So that perfection can mess you up too. But I've never been crazy on that level of perfection. If I knew it could play on radio, then I was good from there. And then I'd start checking to see, I start getting music out, because then I can get my fans to like start buying merch and come to shows, whatever like that, everything that would make money for me. But as I said, like my perfection spot that I struggle in is the space of like There's like, because I have full songs that I haven't released yet out of those number of songs I talked about, that it just be like little things to me that bother me. Like, and I need to get away from that, because it'll be like, for instance, like I'll be like, man, I should have said this word like this. And yeah, I could go back and record it. The taking the time with everything else I'm doing hasn't been great. So I get stuck in the space of being like, yo, like maybe we should, you know what I'm saying? Like, even like the order of how I release my songs. I'm very like, if I take a long time before I release another song, what I end up doing is I have to release a catchy song first. And the reason I do this, now this works for us, so yeah, that's good, but then I have to find the time to record. So then it's kind of like, if I take a long time off, I need a catchy song before we start releasing songs again. I need a catchy song to come out first, so then I can catch everyone's attention, and then I can start releasing the other songs. That becomes another thing of like trying to be perfect in our own mind that hinders me, because if I don't have the catchy song and I took the time off, then I'm stuck until I get the catchy song. Then I'm like, okay, well, let's go back to the board and try to get a main song and then release again. Kind of very similar to the idea of how people release albums. Like, I need a single first before I release again. And I'm not recording enough to be in that space of perfection. Really, the reality of it is that I recorded more when I was younger. So like now I don't record as much. So you have to take in consideration where your perfection is hindering you, because some of those things can actually stop you from releasing the music. A lot of times we get caught up in when should I release it and everything like that, and that also becomes a hindrance. And we can say that, yeah, you can release just tons of music and it's just trash, and then like people say that, but chances are you can possibly get something over if you just release and you start like pumping it to people. I get caught up in, as I said, like the how I'm going to do the rollout. And I go like, I need this, so I can hit them back to back. But see, I've also lost a lot of money on the table because when I released, I didn't do the rollout. So then that's why I'm so scared of that. So then it's like reasons why we have these perfection issues, but it's like, how can you tweak against those? So then, like, for instance, like I had a song called Lit, and it was basically our single. And inside it should have been our single. Our single ended up being a song called Loop and Jupe and not Lit. And Lit should have been our single. And the reason why is because the people who were overseeing us at that time, I made Lit on my own. And it was me, and then I recorded and I sent it to Hip, and I was just gonna keep it as a separate from the album. And I was just gonna keep it like that. They had built a song with a producer that's famous in named Dim Joints in LA, and that was Loop and Jupe. So they wanted that to be the single because it's with the famous producer, and then it's like going through like label people. Our song Lit is produced by my in-house producer that I was always working with, and then I just went and recorded, and then I sent it to Hip and then O'Brien, and then he recorded, and then we went forward. We kept that song Lit should have been the lead single. Inside that, we never shot a video to Lit. And then on top of that, we never did really any promo around it. It was the main song that we performed that everyone got hyped to, but we never did anything around it. And then there was no video to it or nothing. Then it gets picked up on Netflix, and gets picked on Netflix, goes viral. There's no video to it or anything. So that's why I get caught in my head on the rollout. And that's that perfection piece that can hinder you. But then that's the reason why I had this situation. So then now I get caught up in it to being like, I need to be ready with the rollout, which ends up becoming like, what song should I do that to? But then I try to do it to everything, and that becomes my perfection problem. You see what I'm saying? And then I don't release anything. So we all have to look at those things and try to figure out like where we have that hindrance, and then figure out how to get around it so we can tweak it. So then we got to get away from the idea of what is perfect. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like what I did make off that song is amazing. So then I can't get fully mad at it. But then that does hinder my other songs now, because I get into that idea like, man, what if this is the one? I should have had the video. I should have done this. I should have, and that hinders me from releasing music. So, hey, we all have this problem. Definitely try to find what is the corporate of what's doing that to you, and go from that point. You know what I'm saying? And then try to narrow it down so then you can change that in the future. So definitely, this has been Music as a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and it's brought to you by Qoncert.